But one man died there at Bitter Creek, and they say he ran away. Branded, marked with a coward's shame. What do you do when you're branded? Well, you fight for your name. He was innocent, not a charge was true, but the world would never know. Branded, scorned as the one who ran. What do you do when you're branded and you know you're a man? Wherever you go for the rest of your life, you must prove you're a man.
"1875. The Civil War had been over for a decade, and once again we were one nation, with one capital and peace. But it wasn't that simple. There was another nation to be reckoned with, a nation with a heritage older than our own. The blue and the gray had learned to live together, but the red and the white had not.
Criticizes the Bureau of Indian Affairs. He's not authorized to give statements to the press about the conduct of my departments.
Mr. President.
What is it?
The man you were expecting is here.
Let him in. McCord.
Mr. President.
Nice to see you. General Phil Sheridan, commander of the Department of the Missouri. Jason McCord.
General.
Mr. McCord.
Well, now, McCord, I like the way you handled that Mexican situation for me.
Well, thank you, sir.
I told Phil here about it. But this affair is a little closer to home for all of us. When you were at West Point, you had a lot to do with a cadet just a year behind you. Armstrong Custer.
Yes, sir. I was assigned to coach him for his entrance exams. We got to be good friends. I haven't seen him since I left the service.
Those headlines there mean one of two things. Either Custer has an honest gripe, or he's taking potshots at me and my administration for personal reasons.
Why would he do that?
This is an election year, McCord. He was the youngest major general in the history of the Army. Now he's 35 years old. Just old enough to be the youngest president in the history of this country.
Pardon me, sir, but we both know Custer earned his stars. So if he has political ambitions,
I wouldn't care if he had. But I think somebody else has ambitions for him.
Someone seems to put a bug in Armstrong's head that he's outgrown just plain soldiering.
He listens to the flattery of his associates instead of listening to the complaints of the Indians. He's antagonized most of the Redskin leaders in the territory. Right now, the Indian Treaty of '68's about to blow sky high, and I'd say Custer's the fuse.
Where do I come in, sir?
I want you to go to Fort Lincoln. Renew your old friendship. Find out what's stewing in his head. See if he can still be depended on as a soldier and commander.
You mean spy on him?
It's either that or take General Sheridan's suggestion and send 2,000 troopers into Dakota Territory.
Those killings have got to be stopped.
If you think Custer is provoking the Indians, why don't you transfer him?
Because even with his stubborn and unreasonable streaks, he's still the best field commander in the cavalry. That's where he belongs. Somebody has turned that egotistical head of his. Maybe somebody he trusts could turn it back.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't do that.
Wait 30 minutes and you'll change your mind.
Flattering these savages. If we send in 2,000 more men, it's going to look like we're so scared we're shaking in our boots.
If these estimates are correct, there are 8 to 10 bands, at least 300 strong, roaming the area.
The point is they're from different tribes. They are Ogallala, Hunkpapa, Cheyenne. They have never fought together. They never will. They're too proud to combine.
Suppose they find a common leader who can unite them.
What do you mean? An Indian who's above tribal law? No, that's not likely.
What about Sitting Bull? They say he's a prophet.
A prophet. Well, you just remember what the gospel says about prophets, Bill. They're always without honor in their own land. Now, you keep your reserves at Fort Kearney. The 7th Cavalry can handle this. These dog eaters need a lesson. We're just the outfit to give it to them.
Maybe they need an example more than a lesson, General. Maybe you're not providing it.
Mr. President, you sound as though we're talking about children. These are survivors of the Stone Age. They're savages. They're 20,000 years behind our civilization.
Is that any reason for us to act like savages?
Us? Mr. President, the word Sioux means cutthroat. They chop off heads. The Cheyenne symbol is cut arm. They collect human limbs. The Ogallala chief, Crazy Horse, wears the symbol of a bloody hand on the front of his jacket. I understand. If I were a Sioux warrior, there was nothing on this earth that could keep me on a reservation. But if our policy is to put them on the reservation, then let's keep them there. And if we can't keep them there, then let's get rid of them.
That'll be all, General. I'll review your report. General Sheridan will visit Fort Lincoln before the month is over.
Yes, sir. I'll walk you out.
Well, McCord?
Yes, sir, I'll do it.
Mr. Yates, he just stopped to help me.
Don't let him fool you, Miss Galvin. If I hadn't happened along, you'd be dead right now.
Stop it. Please stop. He just stopped to help me. Please.
Get on your horse and get out of here. You all right?
I'm very sorry this happened. I want to thank you. The boy stopped to help me. Then Mr. Yates came along. He's been fighting Indians so long, I guess he doesn't know how to treat them any other way.
You know him?
Oh, yes, he's one of General Custer's scouts. Are you going to Fort Lincoln?
Yes.
Well, my father's the Indian agent there. I'm Jenny Galvin.
Jenny? I'm Jason McCord. Well, better get that wagon wheel fixed up. For the sake of Grant's go soft policy, you make your own policy now, General. Then next year, you'll make the policy for the whole nation.
Lib? Excuse me, Vaughn.
Excuse me, is Jay?
Chase? Were you long-legged son of an army mule?
Hello.
Where the devil you come from? Come on in here. Let me get a good look at you. Well, you look as homeless as a poker chip, Chase. Hey, Libby! Lionel, I want you to meet the man who talked me into joining the cavalry. Jason McCord, Lionel McAllister. McCord?
Jay!
McAllister. Libby!
Libby!
Good to see you.
It's been too long. General, if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to. Nice meeting you, Mr. McCord.
Mr. McAllister.
I'll see you out, Mr. McAllister.
Thank you. Goodbye, Lionel.
Don't let him get away.
I'm not going to let him get away. We've got too much to catch up on. Come on in, Jason. I got a bottle of Kentucky sour mash in here. I've been waiting for an occasion like this. What happened to your face? You fall off your horse?
Oh, one of your scouts. A man named, Yates.
Yates. What was that about?
Well, he was taking out a lot of hate on an Indian boy, half his size.
Good. Well, they cut him loose a long time ago, but with a brave behind every tree, it's getting hard to find men, Jason. What are you doing in this part of the country?
Well, that is a good question. I was going to hire out to do a geological survey for gold in the Black Hills. But I hear you're keeping prospectors out of there.
It's not my idea, Jason. It's the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which means Grant. I'm just following orders.
Artie, you were never very good at that.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't, was it? You're looking for a job, huh?
Yes, I am.
Well, I got an idea. We could kill two birds with one stone. I can tie a tin can on Yates and get myself a good scout if you go to work for him.
Well, what will your men think?
So, cavalry is my outfit, Jason. I run it the way I want to. If you want the job, you can have it.
All right.
Thank God. Listen, I got to go down to quartermaster for a few minutes. Why don't you put your stuff in the room at the head of the stairs up there, and then I'll meet you at 6 o'clock for a short one at the Bachelor Officer's Tavern.
I'm not an officer.
It's all right, Jason. I'm not a bachelor. Out of here.
I'd like to go to the picnic, but I may have to work for my father on Sunday.
Hey, even the dutiful daughter should have one day of rest, right?
Oh.
Excuse me. Mr. McCord? What are you doing here?
Hello, Jenny. I'm supposed to meet General Custer. Is he here yet?
No, but come on in and wait for him. Here, sit down. Would you like something to drink?
Whiskey.
Mr. Hazen, it's my daughter I'm thinking about.
Well, I thought that's why you wanted in on this deal, Galvin. You get her a few nice things.
It was,
But what? You're making plenty shortchanging those Indians. How many Indian agents save over $3,000 on a $1,500 a year salary?
I know.
I'm tired of your whining, Galvin. And I told you never to talk to me about this in public. You go when I tell you to. Any progress?
Yeah, I think the poster did the trick. He's ready. Now all we need is the trigger.
Oh, we'll fix that. Galvin, when those Indians come around this week for their supplies, you cut them down to quarter rations and no tobacco. The hungrier they get, the sooner they'll break that treaty.
What'll I tell them?
Tell them to take it up with the great white father. Now, leave us alone.
Now, what's he doing here?
Feeling sorry for himself. Custer just fired him. It's all right. Sit down. So old Curly is in the corral, huh? President.
Listen, I can make him president, Hazen. I put 2 governors in office and a handful of senators. He listens to me.
I don't care if you make him king of Romania. Just make sure he leads a charge in the Sioux territory and violates that treaty. And I'll be right behind him to stake my first claim on all that gold those red devils are sitting on.
Thank you again for what you did for me today.
Say, I finally remembered who that fella is. Well, that's Jason McCord, the good captain who ran out on his regiment at Bitter Creek. I wonder who let him in here.
I don't know. But I know who's going to show him out.
Well, now, if you didn't come out here to enlist, what are you going to... Excuse me. Lieutenant Briggs, Mr. McCord.
Lieutenant?
Yeah, I know who he is. You know, apparently you didn't listen to the articles of your court-martial very well. Mr. McCord. This room is for Army officers only.
He's a guest.
Walk out or get thrown out.
You're making a mistake, Lieutenant.
Come on.
Let go.
Come on, let's go.
That's the same fellow I tangled with. Yeah, that's Custer's new house guest, Jason McCord.
As you were. Gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to your new chief scout, Jason McCord. Mr. Briggs, since you were so quick to welcome Mr. McCord, I would like for you to extend your courtesy and give him an orientation tour. But, sir, immediately following inspection tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right, how's about a round of Gary Owen? Welcome to the 7th, James.
We are the pride of the Army and a regiment of great renown. Our name's on the pages of history from 66 on down. We are the pride of the Army and a regiment of great renown. Our name's on the pages of history from 66 on down. We'll break windows, we'll break doors, the watch knocked down by 3s and 4s, and let the doctors work their skill and tinker up our aches and ills. We'll be the
Listen, we've got Custer primed.
And I don't want anybody wetting that fuse.
Don't worry. I'll take care of Custer.
And I'll take care of McCord.
With the boys of man, there's none tough sons of Gary, oh. And you think we start for gold, they're well in the prairie, oh.
Hello!
Devil who was issued that jacket. I'm going to strip that savage right down to his skin. And I hope he tries something, because I don't want to stop there.
Briggs, that stream marks the boundary of Sioux territory. You cross it, you're in violation of federal law.
McCord, I wouldn't expect you to care about your country's uniform, since they took it away from you. Sergeant, take the command. I'll be right back. Come.
There's 30 Sioux rifles on that hill. Look.
McCord, you're going to get 20 years for this. I'm filing a formal complaint.
I hope you get the chance, Lieutenant.
We're set a smoke door.
Yes, sir.
Well. Seems to me last time I saw you behind bars was when you and me and Tom Prosser got thrown into jail.
Betty Hayes.
Betty Hayes. What'd that fella call you?
You don't remember?
No.
Bones.
Bones. Yeah. Well, Bones. Seems like you got yourself in a peck of trouble this time. Briggs said that Indian was wearing a 7th Cavalry jacket. 2 of my men were murdered by Indians last month. That jacket was bound to belong to one of them.
Maybe. Maybe he'd been wearing it for 5 years.
The point is, it was a cavalry jacket on the back of an Indian.
General, the point is we have a treaty with those Indians.
Well, maybe that treaty is just a little bit outdated, Chase.
Maybe your thinking that's a little outdated.
Chase, when you were younger...
I've learned a few things since I was younger, General.
Like how to avoid a fight? Forget it, Chase. I didn't mean that. And I know you had reasons for what you did. I'll talk to Briggs about dropping the charges.
Sir, General Sheridan's detail is approaching the gate.
Really? You know Sheridan, don't you, Chase?
Yes, I met him once.
Well, Libby is having a little shindig for him tonight. And, boy, I know she sure would like to have you there.
Well, you can tell it for me, General. I sure would like to be there.
Well, if I can't get you out, maybe Liv can.
As if you can't get me out.
I'll send you over a glass of punch, Chase.
Oh, thanks.
You certainly know how to throw a party. It isn't often you see this kind of refinement in such rough country.
It isn't often that we have such a distinguished guest. Jason.
Libby.
I want you to meet someone. I'm glad you could come.
Yes.
General Sheridan.
Yes, we've met. Mr. McCord.
Good evening, General.
General Custer's in the study with Mr. McAllister. If you could remind him of his other guests, I'd appreciate it.
I'll be right back. Good to see you again, General.
Jason?
Well, Jenny, don't you look pretty?
Oh, you. I'd like you to meet my father. Daddy, this is Jason McCord.
Hello, Mr. Galvin.
How do? Much obliged for the help you gave my daughter.
Jenny tells me you run the Indian agency.
That's right.
It's a challenging job.
Well, he's equal to it.
You're probably right.
Looks like old McCord is beating your time. Come on, let's have a drink.
Well, I have to see General Custer for a few minutes, but I'll be back for the next dance if you do me the honor.
I'll be here.
Sir, what?
Chief. I come in peace, Longhair. I have heard that the chief of all the Pony soldiers has come. I bring him words from the Sioux Nation.
General, this is Crazy Horse. He's one of Sitting Bull's war chiefs.
I'm General Sheridan.
Too many warriors have died. We want no more of death. We want only to be left alone. We stayed in the camps you gave us where there was food. Now we must follow the buffalo. If we are to starve, we will starve in our own land.
Why do you talk of starving? We've provided food for your people, according to the treaty.
Words written in water.
Those words were written in blood, Crazy Horse. Blood of the white man and blood of the red man. If you have grievances, if there's a misunderstanding, it's what the Indian Agency is for.
That man, he has cheated us. He has killed as many of my people as Longhair killed at Washita. But Longhair killed quickly. Hunger is a slow death. We did not ask for the scraps from your tables. We are hunters. We ask only to be left alone. If you do not, your women will weep, as our women have wept.
General, he came in peace.
Let him go, Briggs.
Daddy, how can he lie like that?
Excuse me, Jenny.
Doug, those terrible things he said about Daddy, they're not true.
Of course they're not, Jenny.
Jenny,
The sight of an Indian just makes your legs turn rubber, doesn't it? You know, I dropped my charges against you because you're a friend of the General's. And I think a lot of him as an officer and as a man. But I won't stand around and watch you turn this outfit into a company of cowards, McCord. Come on, Jenny.
I thought you had Custer primed. Could have happened right then.
Shouldn't have let him go, Jace. I need to be taught a lesson. They're not supposed to leave the reservation. He broke out of the reservation. He broke into my house. He insulted my guests. I should have killed him.
for what he did, you've got a right to be angry. But doesn't what he said bother you? What are you going to do about that?
Don't play my conscience, Jace.
General Sheridan. McCord.
If I didn't know what you were here for, I'd never guess it. What have you got?
Well, sir, Custer is being used, but I'm not sure why. McAllister's part of it. He's trying to convince the general that no one can block his nomination next year.
If he wins an Indian war. Maybe you were right. Maybe I ought to recall Custer.
No, sir, I was wrong. You might as well strip him of his rank. The 7th Cavalry is his life.
He's my friend, too, McCord. When a man's ambition blinds him to his duty, he's no longer fit to command.
There's more to it than that, sir. A lot more. McAllister may want a hero, but he's not capable of starting a war. Somebody else is pulling those strings.
What about the accusations that Crazy Horse just made? Could somebody be trying to starve the Indians into a fighting mood?
I'm going to have a talk with Galvin, the Indian agent.
President Grant had an idea you could handle this alone. But after what happened tonight, I don't think we can afford to wait. I'm sending to Fort Kearney for the reinforcements.
Then you'll have your war for sure. General, give me one more week.
All right. A short one. 5 days.
Mr. Galvin.
What do you want, Mr. McCord?
Packing?
Yes.
Why? Because of what Crazy Horse said?
Don't lecture to me about running away from responsibility, McCord. I know all about you.
What else do you know, Mr. Galvin?
What do you mean?
Somebody's going out of their way to start an uprising. A good way to do that would be to shortchange the Indians on their rations.
I'm busy.
Outside the Indian agency. I looked for your father, Jenny. He wasn't in there.
I'll bet you did, McCord.
Save it for the Sioux Briggs.
General, hold off until I can scout the area. There was one set of fresh tracks up to that cabin and two coming out. It wasn't a war party. Galvin may still be alive. If you send a regiment in there.
All right, Jace.
Sir?
Put A and B Company on alert, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Jace, if you're not back by tomorrow night, I'm leading a night march.
I'll be back.
No, Johnny, no.
It's Crazy Horse.
Well, General?
Sun boots and saddles.
Go back. Tell the others they are not welcome here.
We've got to talk, or a lot of other brave men will die. I have to see Sitting Bull.
Go back.
It's too late to go back, Crazy Horse. For the white men or the red men.
3 times has this man kept faith with our people. Where the son of my sister was in danger, he helped him. Where the Pony soldiers came into our land seeking blood, he led them out. When I was held in the Lodge of the Longhair, it was him who spoke for me.
Let the White Eyes talk. We shall judge his words.
Sitting Bull, the Indian agency has been burned to the ground, and the Indian agent, a man called Galvin, has disappeared.
My warriors have already told me that they have not done this thing. He wronged our people, but we did not kill him. Perhaps he was punished by your gods.
This was the work of a man. The Longhair thinks it was a red man. A Sioux war lance was found by the trading post.
You lie.
Dismount! Stand your horses. Fall out!
We'll camp here until dark. When we go in, whether McCord's here or not.
Yes, sir.
You get the horses watered and get them ready to cross the river. But on my order, and that includes you, Briggs.
I guess I can wait until dark, sir.
Yeah, I guess you can.
They left me for dead in a burning building. I found the lance myself.
I believe you speak the truth. I speak the truth also. My people did not leave it there. White man will not accept evil that is among him. It is easier to blame all wrongs on red man because we have a different tongue. We wear different colored skins. Our ways are not his ways. When men do not keep faith with each other, the gods become angry. We have heard their war drums over the skies, and this time we shall be ready for the storm.
These men are the great leaders of their tribes. They come many miles to sit at council table and settle differences. If we are to talk again with the Pawnee soldiers, it will not be as rivals, but brothers. Not as tribes, but as a nation.
What is it?
The long hair and his soldiers have marched to the eastern boundary of our land. They are ready to move across. Write to him. Tell him what has been said. You must stop him.
I will.
Off your horse, McCord. Drop your gun.
Look, Yates, if you have a grudge, we can settle it later. I've got to see Custer before sundown.
That's part of the grudge. Get down. Where's your gun? See one of these? It's what the trappers use for grizzlies. Guess it might just tear a man's leg off if he accidentally stepped into it.
Accidentally? What did you do with Galvin?
Curious as a ring-tailed coon, aren't you? Well, now. Galvin was another man that had accidents. Had a bad one. Ran into a Sioux war party.
Name of Yates? But you're not smart enough to engineer this.
I'm no genius, McCord. But I'm smart enough for Greg Hazen to use me as his right-hand man.
Custer is using my vanity to make me into a wood monkey. Galvin and Hazen are shortchanging the Indians so they'll be ready for a fight, is that it?
Hazen must want that Black Hills gold so bad he'd sacrifice anything and anybody to get it.
Jeez, that doesn't make sense. He's got enough money already to burn a wet mule.
Maybe, by a soldier's standards.
I believe you, Jim.
That's not enough, Order. You're going to have to prove it. Not to me. To Sitting Bull.
How?
Take a ride with me?
Braves! Sir? Saddle 3 fresh horses.
Sir.
He should have been back long ago.
Well, Vaughn warrior, McAllister. But I guess we need that in the Secretary of State. Come in.
Somebody see you.
Bring him in. Well, Mr. McCord, this is an unexpected pleasure.
I'm sure it is. The next time you pay somebody to kill a man, make sure he's quicker and less talkative than Yates.
Look, I told you it wouldn't.
Why did you come here, McCord?
To make a deal. There's 6,000 square miles of land in the Black Hills, but it's not one big gold mine like you think. 9/10 of that ore is worthless.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about fool's gold. The Army trained me as a geologist. Now look, I've had my eye on that territory just like you. That's why I took the scouting job with the 7th. It gave me an excuse to ride in there, take some samples.
Get to the point, McCord.
The point is, if the treaty's broken, there's going to be a lot of land grabbing. You just might grab in the wrong place.
Meaning?
Meaning I can draw you a map that'll sit you on top of a mother lode as rich as the Denver Mint.
How do we know we can trust them?
You don't. All I want is enough money to get out of this country for good. $20,000, 10 now, and 10 when you make your first strike.
All right.
Not until I see the money. I'm not as gullible as that dim-witted dandy out there dodging arrows because he thinks it'll put him in the White House. I thought Custer was a friend of yours. Nobody in an Army uniform is a friend of mine.
I'll have to get your money from the bank, but you can take my word for it. Now, let's see that map.
Seem harmless.
He is now.
let's go.
Buddy, did you really want to be president?
Well, thanks for letting me stand you a drink, sir.
My pleasure, Lieutenant.
Guess it's goodbye.
Jenny, do you remember that schoolgirl dream you told me about?
Got a knight in shining armor?
About a knight in shining armor. Good luck to both of you.
What happened to the cavalry?
What'd you do? Steal that horse, Jason?
Well, Audie, here's where I head for Bozeman.
You big, dumb Irishman. You're going to spend the rest of your life covering for General Reed. You're Army, Jace. You always will be Army. A court-martial isn't going to make that much difference. I'm going to talk to Sheridan. Tell him what you've done, Audie.
I'm happy the way things are.
Well, it's your decision to make. Well, this is to remind you that you'll always be a part of the 7th Cavalry, Jason.
Thanks, Audie.
No, I owe you the thanks. You straightened me out about the presidency. I'll tell you something, though, Jason. I know my Indians. There's a fight coming sooner or later. You'll step up to me one of these days and you'll say I was right about that. Meanwhile, I'll be happy just to do my soldier run right where I am. You know something, Jason? Some people call this desolate, God-forsaken country, but I figure this is just about as close to paradise as a man can get.
It's a beautiful country, all right. What do they call this valley?
Well, the Indians name the Valley of Rich Grass. The trappers call it the Little Bighorn.
The Little Bighorn.
So long, children. This is as far as I go.
So long, Audie.
Never
speak the truth. Branded, that's not the way to die. What do you do when you're branded? Can you live with a lie? Branded.